Coming up next, the Screensavers, followed by Players at 8 and Sweat at 8:30.
Coming up tonight, speed up your Macintosh productivity with a ton of quick OS X hints. And frag yourself a screensaver. It's Thursday, and that means it's a layup party day. Plus, the best film organizer this side of the Mississippi, and that side too. Live from the Tech TV studios in San Francisco, it's the Screensavers.
Welcome to the Screensavers. I'm Kevin Rose, and Patrick Norton is right there.
We're just rewinding a news story.
Thanks for joining us
us.
on the Screensavers. This is the only show on television that showcases the coolest new gadgets and games, shows you the best computing tips and tricks, and answers your very tough toughest questions.
Question,
Woo!
tech, tough answer.
Yes.
Tonight we have a great show. We got some really slick, hints and tips and tricks for you for the Mac OS X users out there. Leo's going to show you how to make those inevitable Windows program crashes a little less painful.
And Sarah has got to download the day today.
I know, usually on Thursdays I do Windows tweaks, but today's download is really fun. It's anybody out there, any of you out there who have a big music library at home. No, not music, I meant film library, movies. If you have a lot of movies, you burn in movies. I know you wouldn't do anything bad like that, but if you have a lot, I have a great download. You got to tune in for that.
Dan. Oh, sorry. Dan.
You said Dan?
No, Dan doesn't burn that. No.
I don't know what you're talking about, dog.
And today is Thursday. That means it's time for the Screensavers LAN party.
Powered by NVIDIA.
Today we're playing one of the most popular game mods ever, Battlefield 1942 Desert Combat.
That's amazing.
This 591 megabyte download not only stops dial-up users from playing, but it also gives you all the modern weapons and vehicles like the M1, A1 Abrams, Howitzer, Humvee, Apache, A10, F-14, 15, 16, a ton more. Today on the Screensavers team, you'll be playing against Dan, Annette Funicello Heward. He's got a Rackspace servers fired up and ready to go. And seat number 2, you may remember him from Call for Help. It's the notorious ROG, Roger Chang. Roger!
Yeah.
In seat number 3, we have Yoshi, a.k.a. Big Y. What's up, Big Y? Zoop! And from the audience, we have Ben from Louisville, Kentucky. Hey, Ben.
Hey.
All right. We got a good team today. I have a feeling we are going to kick some butt because we have an awesome team today in there.
Want to lay some money on that?
No. Let's start with the tech news that caught our eye today. Sarah has the first story.
I sure do. Linksys has kind of dug themselves into a hole because researchers have discovered that the most popular wireless Linksys routers contain a security hole. Ooh. Now, to be fair, the exploit has only been detected on earlier Linksys routers. Their newest wireless routers are not vulnerable, but Linksys has yet to respond to the problem at all or resolve the issue. So for now, check your own wireless Linksys router, see if you're the ones with the problem. The models with the security hole, have your pens ready, are BEF SR41 and BEF W11 S4.
Two of our favorite routers, unfortunately. So basically the deal is what, Kevin? That you can log into it remotely if you haven't changed the passwords or if you have.
We all know that in the Linksys routers, almost everybody has one of these things, that the default password is admin to get in, or in the later ones it's just the blank and admin. Now, supposedly, that's only supposed to be, or you're only supposed to be able to get even that far if you're inside the network, if you're connected to the Wi-Fi unit, or you're actually hardwired inside the network. And they have a feature that's called remote administration,
which you have to,
it's turned off by default.
Right. You have to turn it on. The idea is that if you're at home and you want to, or if you're at work and you want to check the router stats at home, you can turn it on and check them.
But they say now with this hole, you don't even have to have it turned on, that anyone on the web can come in to your router and gain access to the administrated login, not complete access.
Okay. So they have to guess your login name and they have to guess your password.
But considering that 90% of the users out there, home users, they have the standard admin.
You know what? I'd say it's probably closer to 30%, because like a year and a half ago, when a year and a half ago, you'd be war driving. It would be really easy to log in. A lot of people are changing the default settings.
I know a lot of people are, but I still see them I do a lot of war driving, not illegal war driving, but
this is a tip, ladies and gentlemen. There is no illegal war driving.
Right. I don't think, unless you take people's documents in their MP3 collection, which some people have some really good stuff.
War driving is just looking for wireless access.
That's right.
That's not
connecting and
networks.
going in.
The point, though, before we diverge, is that don't leave your, not just a Linksys, on any brand of router, any brand of home router, don't leave the default password setting. Don't leave the default name of the router, because anybody who sees, if it's the default name, they're gonna guess your password. They can lock in, they can open things up, they can turn off protection.
And another very, very important thing is don't leave it unpatched. If you have a router, even with Windows or whatever it may be, check to see if there's a new firmware out there, install and run that firmware update.
So if I'm setting up a new name for a router and a new password or a new login password, what should I have in that password?
You should definitely have a combination of both like upper and lowercase characters. It shouldn't be a dictionary word. That is definitely a no-no.
That's the worst thing.
That is the worst possible thing you can do, because dictionary brute force attacks are very common.
And very fast.
Very common and very fast, because it goes through the dictionary, just tears through them. I would recommend upper and lowercase, something that doesn't make sense. Also, throw in some numbers, throw in some symbols in there as well. Yeah, dollar signs, exclamation points, whatever you want.
So Firehose is a bad password.
Bad password.
But *L47L lowercase GG capital W # ampersand is a good password.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. The trick, of course, is remembering them.
That's right.
So
next story, please.
A few days ago, we mentioned Yahoo's new anti-spy feature on the toolbar. In fact, we were even saying we were going to do it as a download. Well, eWeek reported earlier this week that Yahoo's toolbar does not block adware by default, leaving services like Gator free to run on your system. Nobody likes that. Some eyebrows have been raised since Yahoo has been in financial agreements with companies like Claria, who are the makers of Gator eWallet. Gator gathers, of course, information such as surfing habits, and this returns information to Claria, a common tactic used by adware companies. People know what adware is. People didn't know that this is what was going on with the Yahoo toolbar. What do you think, guys?
Well, is it searching for, let's say, like spyware by default, and you have to turn on the adware section?
You know what? We're starting to download this. This is the thing I was tweaking.
Right.
Some stuff got messed around.
Seconds before the show, we were messing with the story.
Resulting in my sprint to home base. But here's the deal, right? Gator sued people for calling, or I guess it's Claria, right?
Right.
And they didn't change the name because Gator had a bad reputation as spyware. They changed it because Claria is much more marketable, or whatever their reason for it is.
It sounds like some kind of pharmaceutical company or something.
I like that. Claria. The thing is, though, is basically it's kind of, a lot of people, is adware spyware? Technically, no, because in a lot of cases you agree, I'll take this free software, this free service, this free access in exchange for having ads posted, usually inside of either the web page or the whatever the gadgetry or software you've downloaded.
Right.
And that's a legitimate arrangement. A lot of people actually use spyware detection tools to block the ads from adware, which means the software is still run, you just won't see the ads.
Adbot search and destroy,
on your deal, Adaware,
they all go and search for them and then can remove them from the system.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things that comes up at the front of SpyBot. It's like, hey, if you have adware, don't block the ads because you agreed, to look at the ads in exchange for the adware. Well, a lot of people are really upset about this.
Well, they're upset because Yahoo's advertising and they're saying this is an anti-spy and adware removal, but they're not even turning on the functionality. So we will see what they do. Hopefully they will decide to turn it on by default and really help people out. But
we'll load that onto this system and
we'll play with it.
And maybe we'll get to show you guys in the G Block how to turn that on.
Cool.
We've got sad news for gamers in the Far East. In an effort to protect the psychological health of the youth of China, the Chinese government will be forming a committee to review and censor online video games that contain questionable content. The committee will be on the lookout for the usual offenses such as sex and violence. Then, of course, the dreaded misrepresentation of China. For example, the online game Hearts of Iron was recently banned for portraying Chinese-held areas like Tibet and Manchuria as independent nations. It's kind of hard for us in the U.S. to understand, but this is actually a legitimate concern.
This is a big deal.
Serious deal.
Yes.
Seriously, I mean, it's interesting. It's also kind of a funny thing. Americans, moan and whine about the youth playing video games, but China's doing some serious.
They're cracking down. Now, one of the we also saw in a side story that they're actually cracking down on Britney Spears' outfits, which she wears at the concerts as well. Not that I wasn't searching for that, but it was there along.
Is Britney Spears touring mainland China?
It was a related link. Yeah, she is touring right now. I believe 22nd.
Is she going to wear one of the little Mao jackets?
I have no idea. You're the one that owns the Britney Spears CD.
It was a gift. It was a gift. But, I mean, it's an interesting thought, right? But the thing that gets me, though, it's like it's going to be illegal to import online games. It's like, can't people just download them from one of the, 37,000 illegal and unregistered internet cafes in China?
Well, they block all that stuff, though. They have all those fireware protections.
Yeah,
they
they don't
incoming and outgoing emails.
I don't understand. It's the Great Firewall of China is not too effective. It'll be. I mean, they're making a statement. You know, we don't want.
Yeah, but if you get caught downloading one of those games, don't you get your arm chopped off or something? I mean, it's pretty hardcore. This isn't like, I'm serious though. Doesn't bad things like that happen?
We need to get you a subscription to Amnesty International.
Yeah, I need something like that.
You know, they do. I don't think they chop your arm off. I think they send you to prison, which is probably a lot worse. You know. Yeah.
Robert, save us. Robert joins us on the G4 Tech TV NetCam network.
Thank you for the news, Sarah.
Thanks for the news, Sarah. Where are you calling from, Robert?
We're calling from Chesapeake, Virginia. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing pretty good.
All right. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about that Linksys. That's what I've got.
You have the exact model that we were talking about?
I have the 41, yep.
Oh, no.
I did upgrade the firmware a couple of weeks ago, but I don't know if that's going to cover it or not.
I don't think it does. They said they didn't have a firmware update for it yet.
I'm sure they're going to have one pretty soon.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Robert, I don't think anybody's made it real easy for the script kiddies to run this and try to beat on your system. It's going to take... You know, I don't know if you've done anything to tick somebody off, but I think you probably got an IP that changes every few hours, every couple of days.
A good password, I'm sure.
You know, if you've got a good password, and, you know, if the NSA's ticked off at you, you're in trouble. But you haven't been selling state secrets or anything, have you?
No, I signed the agreement not to do that a few years ago.
Good man.
All right. Well, what can we help you out with today?
Well, along the lines of security, I've got a question about ports on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
I got a notice from my internet service provider, that I had certain ports open, and I was wondering what the different ports are, what they're used for, and how can I close them if I need to.
That is a great question, and one that has been answered by a friend of ours that we've had on the show before from grc.com.
Should we take a step back
Tell them what ports
anybody
are?
out there? Ports are like virtual connections, basically. Ports is something so a person can understand or have a nice handle to label a computer's ability to connect remotely to another computer over the internet.
It's a hole that opens up. When you browse a web page, it's opening up a virtual, like port 80, and that's the port in which the web traffic transfers over.
And there are tens of thousands of potential ports.
65,535.
That's a lot.
Quite a few.
You're the one with the MCSE, right?
No, I think I ever got that far. No, dude, I don't make claims to that. That's not something to be proud of.
I just thought it was a great fact to have the fingertips. Anyhow, the idea is, right, you have for the thousands of potential internet applications, you have different port ranges and different port addresses they can use. That's a port.
Now, as far as scanning for them and seeing what they're used for, we have a great website that we always recommend. Go to grc.com, and there's actually an application called Shields Up, and you click on Shields Up, and what they're going to do is they're going to use their server to scan your machine for open ports. They'll tell you exactly what ports you have open, and they're going to give you a report telling you which ones you can close, which services you can turn off. You just click on Proceed here, and then it's going to start scanning our machine right now. I should have done this ahead of time. But it says Greetings, and then it starts telling you exactly which ports you have open. It takes a few minutes to start getting all the results. But it's good for knowing which ones you can shut off and which ones you have to keep open.
Right.
We always recommend it because this what's his name, Steve Gibson?
Steve Gibson.
Yeah, he really is on top of all this stuff.
grc.com. He definitely takes the time to do this. I think, though, really fundamentally, you should just shut down every port. Then unplug your system from the internet. That's the only thing to make you absolutely secure.
This is true. Unless there's Van Eck freaking, which then they can. Yeah. That's a whole other dark tip.
We'll talk about that later. Did we kind of give you what you need to know, Robert?
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
No worries, man.
Yeah, that should help you out. There's a great database, and he really goes in depth and explains the information.
Look, I didn't get hit in the face with a T-shirt.
Nice.
Robert, of course, because you called in on a NetCam. Yeah, get a free T-shirt as anybody does that calls in on a NetCam, and we're just getting started, folks. We're going to check in on our LAN party as the players duke it out for bragging rights, and after the break, get your OS 10 hints and hacks hot off the presses coming up when we return.
Our first guest is a monthly contributing editor for Macworld magazine and has written Mac OS X Hints Jaguar Edition and will release the Panther Edition next month. Mac OS X Hint expert Rob Griffiths. Hey, Rob.
Again, nice to meet you.
Thanks for being here.
Nice to be here.
So how did you get started doing this? Tell me, what was your background?
I'm a longtime Mac user. I worked for Apple in the 80s for 5 years, and when OS X came out, it was so different from OS 9, I found myself calling all my Unix-using friends all the time, asking them the same questions. So I just sort of started a log on my machine of things I'd asked them multiple times. And over time, the file got bigger. I got more interested in the net, more interested in Unix, found a software program to post my log basically to the net, and then just started telling people about it, and community developed, and that was 4 years ago.
I was going to say, you have a huge website. I've been on your site before. I mean, you said somewhere around 200,000 hits per day?
200,000 hits a day.
That's quite a few people.
It's text-based. We moved about 7 gigabytes of text a day.
Nice. So it's MacOS10hints.com is your website.
Yes.
And you're going to give us a few of the tricks for here today.
Yep.
What is the first thing we're going to see? Show me
the first thing
some
we're going
hints.
to do is show an expose feature, which is a Apple window management feature. If you're working on your machine after a few hours, it sort of looks like this. You have stuff all over the place.
Multiple windows on top of each other.
And you got to figure out which one you want to go to. And Apple introduced expose, which basically gives you a one-touch view of all your small windows, and you can toggle between them, or you can show all the open windows within a current application.
That's awesome.
So these are all screenshots from the book that I've been working on, or I can go over the actual chapter from the book. But I'm using the keyboard. And when Panther came out, one of the first things that somebody discovered was something called the expose blob. And if I show my desktop and pick up this blob, and we'll drop it on the terminal, which is the environment for the Unix environment.
Yeah, this is just a Unix shell, basically.
It's a Unix shell. It's running Bash.
Explain to me what this command is doing right now.
This command is basically getting into preferences without using a graphic interface. So default write is writing the value into this file called com_apple_doc, which is the doc's preferences. And the variable it's writing is WVOU floater. It's a Boolean, so it can have true or false values. True is on, false is off, and we're setting it to true.
Now, is that just a text file that you could edit yourself, or do you have to use that specific application to write to it?
You could open it in a text editor, scroll down, find the right line, set the value, save the changes, but this is obviously much faster.
Right.
So to make this change work, the next thing we actually have to do is restart the dock.
So you kill it?
So I kill the dock, and the dock comes back to life, and now I have a blue blob on my screen.
Not too impressed so far.
No. And you can drag it around, put it wherever you want on the screen.
Okay.
When you click it, though, it activates expose. And if I hold an Option key and click it, you get the windowed mode.
Oh, nice. So why did they include this? Is this something that some functionality you think they're going to include in a future version of OS X? Or
it's conjecture, but we think they were testing it. They weren't happy with how it worked. They left it in but disabled.
Okay.
I don't use it, but it's sort of interesting to see what they're working on behind the scenes.
That is cool to get behind the scenes. Tell me about sheet animation.
Well, sheet animation, OS X uses something called a sheet. Let's get rid of the blob. That, like if I were to print this page, a sheet drops down from the window itself like that with that cute little animation, and it goes back up into the window when you're done with it. It's very cute the first time. It's sort of cute the second time. It's annoying as hell the 300th time. So,
so you want to turn that off altogether?
We're going to do our best to get rid of it.
Okay.
And I have another thing on the desktop here called sheet animation speed.
Now, when you're drag and dropping these files in, are those just text files?
Yeah. These are little text clippings. It's
Okay.
just a line of text in a file floating on the desktop. Same command again, except this time we're writing into a global domain, which will change all applications.
Could you specify a specific application if you just want to change it? Okay.
You could do application specific, and this time I'm setting a value for a window resize time to 0.001. And I'm going to do that. Now, to see what happened, we have to quit Safari and relaunch it.
So it's going to read from that preferences file that you wrote to. Okay.
And if I go back to the site.
Loading up Apple. Okay, now you're going to choose print again, right?
Yep, I'm going to choose print just like I did before.
Okay.
It's going to go look for the printer, but instead of scrolling, it just appears.
That's cool.
So,
well, this could be handy. I know that I have a really, really, really old G3 Mac. And the animations take forever because it has an old video card. Would this be something that older Macs would definitely want to turn on?
Yeah, and if you do stuff, I mean, anything you do that uses sheets, you will notice a difference and you will save time. What it's also good for, if you work in an office with a lot of Macs, is it's a great practical joke trick. Because instead of going to 0.001, we can go to 3.
So it's going to be really slow.
So if I go back to Safari and quit and restart Safari.
Okay.
I'll go visit Apple again.
All right. Pulling up Apple, and then you're going to choose print again.
Now we're just going to use print, and now we're going to wait.
And
we're going to really wait.
Oh, nice. Well, look at that animation. It's really fluid, though. It's beautiful.
Yeah, they clearly spent a lot of time on it for something that's only on the screen, normally 0.2 of a second.
Right.
But So if you work in an office, somebody leaves their machine alone for a couple seconds, run up, set it to 5 or 10, and they won't notice until they quit and restart their apps, and then they'll wonder what the heck happened.
This is great job security. If you're in IT, you can do this with the computers, and then, yeah, that works out. I like that. Cool. So tell me about the Butler application.
Butler is an application. There are others. One's called LaunchBar. One's called Quicksilver. At its simplest form, it's an application launcher, and you can launch things by typing a few letters of the program's name, and it shows you a list, and then you can either click on it or just hit return.
Now, does this run in the background, or is this something that has to be launched?
It's a third-party application. You run it once, set it to run at startup. It lives in the menu bar up here. Has a configuration screen where you can go in and customize the various shortcuts and the things it can do.
So rather than having to dig through all the different menus and go down and choose the application you want, you just type in the first couple of characters and it launches. How about shortcuts? Can you do shortcut keys?
One of the things I really like for is that you can search the web with it.
That's nice.
So you can pop up a search dialog wherever you want. It defaults to my site because that's the one I search the most, but you can pick from any of these and make any one the default. So, but if I just do this one and hit return, we will get the Unix help hints that are on my site, and I think there's 113 of them.
Nice.
The other thing that it does is you can launch folders from a pop-up menu that you specify what's in here. So I can have a few applications. I can have my documents folder and navigate all of it at the touch of a button.
Nice.
So very handy, very powerful. It's donationware. You'll find it on most of the Mac download sites.
Ever going to create a WindowsHints.com?
I'd have to quit my day job, so
yeah, I can imagine they'd be kind of mad. You ever touched a Windows machine?
I have. I use a Windows machine at work actually about half the time, and a Mac at work about the other half of the time.
I've seen some hardcore Mac guys. They don't even want to touch the Windows machine.
No, they both have their purposes, and I prefer the Mac, but there's clearly I have a Windows machine at home. Use it all the time for games.
Cool. So. Excellent. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Kevin.
Mac fanatics, get a ton of OS 10 hints and start hacking away at macOS10hints.com. Now, still to come, we'll check in on the LAN party action. Today we're playing Battlefield 1942, the Desert Combat mod. And up next, we'll tell Jeff how he can rescue his Linksys router password. All Linksys all the time when the screensavers continue.
Jeff Jones on the phone from Maryville, Tennessee. How you doing, Jeff?
Hey, Jeff.
Good, Leo. Patrick, what's up? Patrick and Kevin, what's up?
Not a problem. Sometimes they mistake us for each other. It's okay.
Next caller. How can we help you today, man?
I forgot my username and password on my Linksys wireless router.
So you got like
forgetting stuff nowadays, huh?
Yeah.
Well, it's good that you put a password in a and didn't use the blank admin stuff in there. It's really scary, right? You want to change a setting, you set this up like 9 months ago, you haven't touched it since, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The reset button is your friend.
Yeah, the reset button is basically you just press and hold it in, and it's going to reset everything to the factory defaults. It's a little tiny button down here, and you'll need a little ballpoint pen or something to push that in.
Oh, sorry.
There we go. You can see that little tiny hole right there. But yeah, it's basically going to reset everything. Now, the only problem is that if you don't remember all of your settings, especially if you have DSL or something that requires like usernames and passwords, you might have to call them for your username and password.
Or DNS address. That's like the worst thing. It's like, oh, what was my DNS address for my account?
Now, if you think it's something that's pretty easy to guess or something like that, there's an application that I recommend. It's called Brutus. Let me see. Here it is right here. Oh, no, actually it's not here. Are we on the right machine?
How to create?
That was not it. But anyway, if you go to Google and you type in Brutus, B-R-U-T-A-S, like that, it should be the first, B-R-U-T, there it is. Brutus, remote password cracker. Now, this is a nice little Windows application. It's basically going to perform a brute force password attack. And it's going to try random usernames and passwords. In this case, you'll probably know the username is either admin or blank, so you can specify that. And if it's something you think you can guess, and you don't want to have to go through all the trouble of
reconfiguring everything,
this will crack it, in no time.
So, are you the kind of guy who uses a password or a login that's like Apple and a password like Jack's, Jeff, or do you do something really sketchy?
For this, I use something real long and different than what I usually do.
Yeah, you might have
Brutus
to just reset it.
well,
Brutus is going to take some time because it can only do so many HTTP requests per second. It's going to hit the machine, wait for response, hit the machine, wait for response. And I think there's actually a timeout if you try too many passwords.
Right.
So you have to wait for it to time out and then try it again. It can take some time, but in this case, man, just push the button on the back. But it's the easiest way.
Sound good, Jeff?
Yeah.
Good luck, man.
Okay, thanks.
Take care.
Thanks for the call, Jeff. Now, here is Sarah with an announcement.
Right, I have some cool news for you. If you haven't heard yet, The Digital Digs Roadshow is heading to Atlanta, Georgia this weekend. So come on out and meet X-Play host Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb at the Lenox Square Mall on Saturday, June 5th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sunday, June 6th from noon till 5. For more information on this roadshow and future ones, go to g4techtv.com/digitaldigs. Now don't go anywhere, because if your movie collection is getting a little out of hand, organize it with my free download of the day. But after the break, it's our LAN party team. Are they getting fragged or are they doing the fragging? It's a Screensavers fragging LAN party and the Screensavers continue.
Welcome back to the Screensavers. I'm Patrick Norton. Coming up in this half hour, Sarah's free download of the day is going to help you organize your movie collection. Kevin and I are going to set our next caller straight on his whole Xbox DVD-ROM dilemma. And Kevin, right now, though, he's over at the LAN party. Kevin, what you doing, man?
Today, Patrick, we are playing Battlefield 1942 Desert Combat. This mod takes 1942 and updates all the weapons and vehicles to the latest and greatest that World Powers have to offer. Today on the Screensavers team, we have Dan Annette Funicello-Heward. He's got our Rackspace servers fired up and ready to go. Dan, do you know who Annette Funicello is?
No.
No idea.
Who's Annette Funicello?
Okay, tell us about setting up the server, Dan. One thing you do know.
Let me tell you something I know.
Yeah, is it hard to set up? Are you having a hard time getting this running?
No, actually, Battlefield's a very simple setup. They have a little front-end client that you just install to your dedicated server.
Okay.
And you just run it from there. It's really simple. Other games like, what's it called?
Take your time.
It's Unreal. Like games like that, they're real command line based, so
Right.
you have to learn the syntax of it.
Right. The syntax can be difficult. A lot of the strings
Because
and
it's
stuff like
different
that.
for every game.
Cool.
Depending on the engine that it uses.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome.
Next, in scene number 2, you remember him from Call for Help. It's the notorious ROG, Roger Chang. Woo! Now, Roger.
Yes.
You are from Call for Help, so you're
Yes.
used to helping out the newbies. Any newbie tips for this game?
You know what? I'm just sniping people, so I can honestly say
He's spawn camping.
You know, it's
You're spawn camping now.
hey. I don't go over where you work and knock the fries out of your head. No, it's no. If you want to play, you know, one thing I've learned is you go with the group. It's always best to go in a herd because they'll more often pick off the other people, hopefully, other than you. And as soon as they, muzzle flash, you know where they are, and then you can pick them off like this guy.
Cool. So, Roger,
missed
some
him.
good sound advice.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Next up, seat number 3, we have Yoshi, a.k.a. Big Y. Yoshi, why do they call you Big Y?
Is there any other bigger Y?
That's right. Yoshi is the Big Y. He's the mod master. Any new mods that you're working on? Anything cool coming up?
Oh, I've always got some cool stuff coming up, but people are just going to have to check in because I'm not going to tell.
Nice. Yoshi's a very secretive man. And next up, our audience member, Ben from Louisville, Kentucky. Hey, Ben.
Hey.
Now, big round of applause for Ben. We are at about 50 million households. You have 10 seconds to say anything you want. What are you going to say? Come on, Ben.
This is awesome.
Nice! Sorry, Ben, I didn't mean to put you on the spot like that. You having fun?
Yes, a lot.
Excellent. You killing some people, fragging some people?
Time.
All right. You're not doing so good. How's our team doing? Is it doing all right? Guys? Team?
Oh, gosh.
It doesn't sound like it. Doesn't sound like it. Patrick, these guys are having some problems. Back to you.
It could be worse, Kevin. You and I could be playing along with them
That's
online.
true.
That would be even worse. We're going to tell Adam on the line coming up next what his Xbox DVD-ROM issue is all about. But up next, you got a big movie library at home. You better have it organized. And Sarah has just the tool to organize it for you.
Hey folks, G4ia is coming. It's the award show for gamers, and it kicks off next week with a nomination special and the chance to vote for your favorite games. G4ia is presented by EB Games and Jeep. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. We're going to check in with Sarah right now for the download of the day.
That's right. This is a fun one. If you're like me, you have like 10 movies in your personal film library. But if you're like some someone like, Dan, you have like 3 million. And a lot of them are not more than blank DVDs with Sharpie chicken scratch to discern them from one another. Makes me crazy. It is unacceptable behavior when you have a free solution like my download of the day. It's called Movie Organizer, and it's great. It's out of control, actually. So let's take a look at it. Just a program. Here I have entered a couple of movies. One of the ones that I entered first was Mulholland Drive. It's one of my favorite movies. I'm a big David Lynch fan. And what I've done is just entered the title here. And by the way, if you don't know much about the movie, you just know that you've got it, you would enter a new movie and then go to the Mood area here. You would search Mood, which is the Movie Organizer online database, and search for whatever the title name is. And what it'll do is it'll pop up a bunch of information in this lower area here. For example, it'll say Mulholland Drive. It was from 2001. Here's the UPC code on your box. It's 146 minutes, and here's some actors that are in it. And that's all fine and good, but I'm a crazy, let's just pretend I'm Dan, so I'm a crazy film aficionado, and I have to know lots more things about this movie or I won't be happy, right? So I would say, well, I've got it on DVD. That's the kind I have. But let's just say, it's DVD-R, DVD-RW. Maybe it's Laserdisc, maybe it's VHS or other. I suppose that would be the few beta people still living and breathing. And, of course, if you have, like, DVD-R, you can say something like, well, it was from AVI or MPEG or something like that. I mean, you can get really specific with this, so it's kind of fun. And then, of course, what is the genre? I would say drama. It wasn't really a very funny movie. It was kind of weird. And what was the rating that I gave it? I gave it a 10 or something like that. Now, moving on to all these other tabs, there's a lot of other stuff that I can do. It doesn't stop here. So in the media area, picture format's widescreen, my audio format's Dolby Digital. I mean, it's really got everything here. You almost can't phase this thing. What was it dubbed to? Was it dubbed? Now, the custom areas here, I don't add anything to. What you can do, let's just say you're like, well, I have nothing to say in that area, so why is it there? If you go up to the View toolbar up at the top and you say List Columns, now you have the option here to list all sorts of columns that you want or to not list them. So let's just say I really don't care who the producer is. I don't care. I hated him. I don't want to say his name. It's fine. Just take that option out. So that's kind of fun. And mark for replacement is kind of nice because let's say you've got a lot of VHS movies that are really getting bad. They're not looking so good. The audio is crappy. You can mark it for replace, and then you can sort as, let's say your movie libraries, you've got like 5,000 movies. You can sort by replace. So you can see all the movies that you've been meaning to replace, but you kind of forget which ones they are, which is kind of cool. Moving on, the grade recommended, seeing this movie, what grade do I give it? That's all fine and good. The loans area is good. Now, I have a lot of movies, let's say, and a lot of people steal them from me or just borrow them indefinitely. I know that I've marked this as lent. I lent it to my mother on May 13th of this year, and it's been almost a month, so she should probably give it back. That's great. It's a really good way to, keep track of your stuff. Don't let people take your stuff. No, this is just getting ridiculous. In the storage area, it's like, not only is it my living room, and it's in my TV armoire, but it's on the top shelf. So there's no way that I can lose this thing because I knew that that's where it was when I entered it. It's perfect. It's so great for someone like me who's like a sticky note person and I'm always getting stuff lost. Purchase price, I know it was $30, so let's say someone wants to buy it from me and I'm trying to be fair. I know that I bought it for $30 on April 4th of this year. It goes on and on. Of course, the special features area you can add in. What did I like so much about this DVD, for example? The director's comments and deleted scenes was really what I liked most about the extras. And then, of course, if you don't know enough about the movie, let's just say you just need to know even more, we have, of course, our IMDb tab, which is Internet Movie Database, which is pretty much, by and large, the greatest movie database in the whole world. It'll just put in Mulholland Drive for you, whatever movie it is, and then when you search it, it'll just pop up a nice window and give you a lot more information about your movie. And it's really slow right now, so it's not doing anything right now, but you know what I mean? IMDb is great, so it's all kind of integrated, and it's so fun. So get it for yourself at movieorganizer.com or in the download of the day archive with other goodies at saralane.com. I'm doing my best to archive some of my downloads and Windows tips that you guys are emailing about wondering where they are.
How much does it cost? You didn't say.
Oh, it's free!
It's
Did I not
free.
mention that?
That's awesome.
Free as a hug to you.
And you said it'll track laser discs too?
Yeah.
Who uses Laserdisc in it?
Brentano.
I would be embarrassed to pull out a
Brentano uses
Laserdisc.
Laserdisc. He has actually a collection
Why?
of them, and he's proud.
Superior audio and video
I
quality?
don't know. You can't be a big
Once you got,
baller
like-
pulling out a Laserdisc in front of your friends.
You know,
There's nothing wrong with Laserdisc.
That's what
next thing you're going to just vinyl.
It's retro.
Coming up after the break, our next caller is confused about what media's Xbox DVD-ROM can handle. We'll uncover the answer right after these messages.
Be sure to catch tomorrow's show. Check out a classy retro mod known as the Machine Age. And Yoshi's going to take us on a totally geeked out spin in a car around San Francisco. And Sarah's going to show you how to turn your Flat XP desktop into a 3D sphere. It's all in a fine retro edition of the Screensavers.
Very nice. Now, Adam's going to join us on the phone from Kirkland, Illinois. Hey, Adam.
How you doing?
Is that where they make all the Costco stuff?
Hmm?
Kirkland? Costco?
Oh, nah.
No, okay.
None of
Just
that
curious. It's all Kirkland stuff at Costco. It's good stuff, but, all Kirkland. Well, how can we help you out today?
Well, I'm modding my Xbox, trying to put a whole bunch of new stuff on there, My first dilemma is I've got a Thompson DVD-ROM drive, and it won't read any of the media that I put into it except for Xbox games, audio CDs, and DVDs.
Basically the stuff
You're supposed to
read.
play.
Yeah.
So what type of media are you burning to? Are you burning to CDRWs?
It's Memorex CDRWs.
Okay. And do you have a DVD-ROM burner?
No, I don't.
Okay, so that is part of your problem. One of the big things when you mod an Xbox is you have to get it to read from the data that you're writing to, because you have to flash the chip. Have you flashed your chip yet? Is that what you're looking to do right now, or?
That's what I'm trying to do, but none of the media that I put in there is working.
Yeah, it's going to take, I must have ejected and pushed back in, ejected and pushed back in a CDRW probably about 75 times before it works. It takes forever to get it to work. Something with the laser, it just won't read the discs right.
But sometimes it'll just read it?
Sometimes it'll just read it every once in a while. You have to do it like 50, 75 times. Now, if you go out and you buy a DVD burner, it always reads it.
Really?
Yeah, if you burn the same data to a DVD and stick it in there, you'll have no problems whatsoever. It's the Dash, I believe, are the ones that work best.
Do you have access to somebody with a DVD burner, Adam?
Not at the moment. But
Well,
I have the funds that I could go out and buy one.
Cool. I mean, DVD burners right around $100 nowadays.
So maybe you could, watch the next couple hours of G4 Tech TV and push the tray in and out. And if that doesn't work, you could probably hit CompUSA before it closes.
So that's what you're going to have to do. I mean, seriously, it will work, but it might take you between 50 to 100 times to get it to work.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Dan, how many times do we have to do it? I mean, you were going in and out with yours.
Way too many times.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand it so many times. We went out and got
And this is normal. This is the way it always works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just strange stuff that happens.
We both have the modded Xboxes.
Oh, no, this I was asking. I haven't modded one, so I'm like, wow, what an annoying process.
It is annoying, but if you burn it, you'll be fine.
Sound good, Adam?
Mm-hmm.
Good luck, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adam.
You're welcome.
Now let's check in with Leo for a quick tip.
I want to talk to you about something that drives me crazy. That's Dr. Watson, the Windows debugger. When your programs crash in Microsoft Windows, Dr. Watson pops up and says, would you like me to save this information? You can't do anything with this information. Unless you're the guy who wrote the program, you can't do anything with it. It's debugging code. Unless you know what code and what registers and where to make the changes, forget it. Who needs Dr. Watson? I'm going to show you how to disable it. Let me show you how to control Dr. Watson a little bit better. Go to the Start menu, Run, and enter drwtsn32.exe. This will at least give you the interface to Dr. Watson. You can say where the log file goes, where the crash debug information goes, the number of instructions to save and errors in the symbol table. Do you want that dumped? Who needs it? I'm not the programmer. I don't know what the visual does. Who needs all that? So I say, forget this. If you're a programmer and you're writing software, this is very handy. You can keep it, although you'll probably use a more powerful industrial strength debugger. I say, turn the darn thing off. Go into your registry, and the full-length key, I've got it on the web pages, local machine software, Microsoft Windows NT current version, AE debug, and here's all the settings for Dr. Watson. If you just delete the debugger key, Dr. Watson will no longer haunt your dreams, will no longer pop up when a program crashes. It'll just crash in peace like it oughta. All right. I'm calm now. I'm relaxed because I got rid of Dr. Watson. Back to you guys.
Man gets hot.
That's right. Now, speaking of hot, here is Sarah with a hot tip for you.
Thanks, dear. In some instances of Outlook Express, see, I'm all flushed and nervous now. Launching the email client of Outlook Express will also open AOL's Instant Messenger. Oh my gosh, I hate that. If that's not a function that you want, there's an easy fix through AIM, not through OE as previously thought. OE has a function to not auto-load AIM, but that often doesn't work. So sign on to AIM, go into Edit Options, and then Edit Preferences. On the left-hand side, choose Sign On and Off. Then when you see Make AIM my default instant messaging program, uncheck that. Now, once you do that, AIM will no longer auto-load in Outlook Express, and even the Options menu item that even talks about AIM in Outlook Express is going to disappear. Very fun. Now stay where you are. Next up, we're going to check our inbox to see what's on your mind. We might read your email on the Screensavers Computer.
Let's take a look at our high scores from each round of our LAN party.
Powered by NVIDIA.
Anybody from us? No, nobody. Congratulations to the high scores, but our team did not make the cut. And we want to thank Ben from Louisville, Kentucky, who's also playing at the end there. Hey, Ben.
Hello.
So happy. If you didn't get a chance to play this week, go to our website right now and register for next Thursday.
Is the registration back up?
I don't know. That's what the teleprompter
Hopefully the
said.
registration will be back up. It was down, and we know they were working on that. So if it's not up, keep tuning back. It's
not up.
Not
Okay.
up. We
So
have
don't go to the
confirmation.
site and do not register.
Go to the site.
Right. But don't register.
Well, register when you can. But
Maybe
right now
later,
you may not be
next
able
week.
to.
One thing we wanted to mention really quick is that Maddie, one of our cameramen, said that a great resource for finding out there's certain CDs that work better in the Xbox than others.
Really?
And he said that go to Xbox-Scene, which is a great resource, and that's the place to go. They list all the media that you can use there. Maddie, of course, a great resource. He's also another Xbox modder here on the set. We have like 20 of them.
He's blogging this.
That's right.
And the Kirkland thing?
Yes.
Kirkland, Washington.
Kirkland,
For Costco.
Washington.
That's
Okay.
the headquarters of
Good to
Costco.
know. Good to know. Sarah, do we have any final emails?
It was also Maddie's birthday on Tuesday.
Ooh,
Happy birthday,
You didn't hear from
Maddie!
Okay. All right, moving on. Yeah, enough from Maddie. Alan Housewright wants to know, I was watching a show, I think it was Sarah that told us how to hide drives on the PC. I can't find that info on your website. What is going on? This is a complaint we've been hearing a lot of. With the move to the new website, there have been a lot of archives that aren't up yet. We're hoping to get them up in the future. I know Kevin and I are going to try to slowly but surely start archiving our most popular stories that you guys are all looking for on our own personal sites. I guess for now it's just,
For the time being.
try to sit tight.
I mean,
and work with us.
there's a team of engineers that are working on it right now. I mean, this whole website transition thing is a big deal, and it's hard when there's so many people hitting these sites and servers to make the transition, and I wouldn't want to be in that job. That's a hard move.
Yeah. But basically, it's up? The article's up?
They are up.
LAN party
registration
We have
is up.
Okay, we have time. See, this is what it's like when you're migrating a couple of
This
websites.
is cutting edge.
So yeah, the
Live
LAN party
TV.
registration is up. They are trying to get the older articles you remember from TechTV.com up
Yes.
as quickly as possible,
Yes,
as
indeed.
Sarah said.
You never know what's going to happen in this business. Okay, Michael says, hey, just pressing the reset button is only going to reboot your device. To restore factory defaults, unplug the power cord, press and hold the reset button, plug back in the power cord, continue to hold the reset button for 20 seconds.
Our bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All bad on that one.
Way to go, guys.
It says reset.
Well, you know.
No, we knew it was something like that, but we should have looked.
Our bad. We're
Every
not
once in a
perfect.
while, yes.
We stink.
Okay, this next one is from Dancing Pants. He says, good day to the screensavers. Good day to you too, Dancing Pants. I have a question about CD burning. Why can I only fit 15 MP3s on one 700 megabyte CD when the songs are only 5 megabytes each? Doesn't compute.
Because you're creating a Redbook audio CD and not a data CD full of MP3s. When you burn an audio CD, it reconstitutes it into the PCM code that your CD player in your home and in your car can read, which takes it back from those 5 megabytes and up to 50 megabytes per song.
If you're in iTunes, go into the options, and it'll say there what type of CD do you want to burn, whether it be a data CD, audio CD, or, the data CD is what you want, because then it puts all the MP3s on there.
Yeah. Don't create an audio CD, create a data CD, and you'll be able to get hundreds of MP3s on the disc.
That is it for this edition of Screensavers. I'm Kevin Rose.
And I'm Patrick Norton. Thank you for joining us. And we'd like to thank our guest, Rob Griffiths. Good stuff, Rob. Ladies and gentlemen, we're out of here.
Good night.